But I mean, some of the chefs that are coming, have we talked about that? Have you
Well,
all
we're doing
thought
a
about
dinner
some of that?
at Equus of 10 chefs.
Right.
That's one of the big giveaways.
Yep.
And that will take place. Whoever ends up winning, we'll discuss that with Jared over at Equus. And that's 10 different chefs that will be having, I guess, a course each.
A course each for 12 people. And there'll be some stipulations. Certainly we're not going to be doing it on a Derby week or whatever, but there'll be some stipulations on it, but it'll be certainly to the advantage of the customer, not to the advantage of the restaurant.
Right.
But there's the chefs participating on the evening. I mean, are the biggest name chefs in Louisville.
Right.
They really are.
Yeah.
And it didn't take much to convince these chefs to participate. It wasn't.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and even some of the chefs that are from day one when Deano started in Louisville are coming into to work that night.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was just speaking to Chef Dominic from Ditto's, and he was saying that he has got a pasta that he got from California just to use on this event.
Wow.
Great.
A pasta from California.
Yeah, because it was something that Deano and he used together, and the only place he could source it from was California.
Wow.
Oh, I love that.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. So you
Yeah.
have to forgive us, guys. We had a little blackout, and sometimes that happens when it's raining, and sometimes it just happens here. This place is very odd when it comes to Wi-Fi. So
Yeah.
be prepared if you're planning on live casting anytime soon at the Olmsted. But anyway, you can stay, Caroline, if you want, or you can go. Whatever makes you. Are you good?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do. I
If
love
you all
having
need me,
you.
just call.
We'll just holler. All you have to do is call, and I'll sing it, Robbie.
Caroline's got it. You got a friend.
Oh, love it. Love having these people in the same space that I do. We'll all join in for the last song. Think of one song that we all know, and we'll join in for the last bit.
Goodness gracious me.
Okay, so Gary, do you sing? Do you sing, Gary?
I have in the past.
Do you like to sing?
I love to sing.
Okay, well, you can't hang out with us unless you like to sing.
Oh, I
So,
love to sing.
that's just the rule.
We're the cool kids.
We're the cool kids. We like to sing. He is an actor singer. I know he's a very fine
exactly.
actor.
Right.
I wouldn't say fine.
I would. I think it's fine.
Serviceable.
That far.
Serviceable.
Now, Gary, people of size have wonderful roles in all kinds of acting, and we have to have people of different
indeed.
sizes, or it would be a boring world.
Indeed.
I think you are an imposing figure and a handsome man,
Well,
and always attired,
Agree.
nattily attired.
I love you all.
We love you too. We love you too. And here we go back to the same thing that Caroline was just saying. Love people while you are with them, because you
Absolutely.
never know when you're going to walk out the front door and, not come back in the front door.
Exactly.
So you've got to think about that every minute of every day. And it's like, I'm that way with my dogs. I mean, that sounds ridiculous when you're comparing, but they're my children.
Exactly.
And, and every time I leave, I give them kisses and tell them I love them. And, because they're from 10 and a half to 13 and a half. Who knows?
Right.
So you want to make sure that they know. So when we come back to you, Mr. Ballatin,
Yeah.
how do you figure out which of the many options in Ballatin go with what foods? Give us a little tutorial, if you will.
Yeah, well, I mean, food pairing, I think food pairing with spirits can be a little bit of a challenge. I think with wine and with beer even, just because you have more flexibility in that wine and beer in terms of the proof and everything. I mean, I don't know, Paul, if you'd agree with that, but I think it's trendy and popular, and people want to pair food and wine. I think it's a challenge with, spirits and cuisine. I think it can be a little bit of a challenge. Ballatin lets us off the hook a little bit because there is a lot of flavor in Ballatin, so that helps guide us.
Well, let's tell you, it smells delicious.
Yeah,
I don't know whether
well,
that's what you mixed or whether it's something
smelling
else.
that
But
orange,
there's,
that orange
it
Cointreau smells good,
wonderful.
but the Ballatin smells great too. I think the natural tendency is to think about desserts and things because there's some sweetness and a lot of flavor in the Ballatin. So we've done some savory stuff, and Dean did some really nice work with Ballatin at this dinner we had at Mesa, the collaborative kitchen.
Oh yeah,
over there in
talk
New
to us
Albany.
about those drink mixes. That was pretty cool.
That was fun. So Dean did the food, and I did the the drink pairings, and that was really great. I know Paul mentioned that, you know, sometimes in the kitchen it doesn't look like there's a lot happening, and then, you know, the plate hits the counter in front of you, and then you're like, holy shit, that is really amazing, right? I mean,
Paul,
can
you
we say
dropped
that?
the word.
Did I? Did I do that?
It's fine.
What
It's
if I
not-
sing it?
It's not
What if I
broadcast.
sing it?
Sing it.
Does that make a difference?
Yes,
If I
sing it. Can you
Okay.
think of a song that would work with that word?
No, let's not. Let's not make a bad situation. But,
I
We normally would not even
So-
call attention to
no,
that.
we wouldn't. But it's us.
I had somebody drop the F-bomb.
Oh no, see, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't do
I-
that.
well, dare me.
okay.
Double dog dare
Well,
me.
you know, now we were talking about this person before. A chocolatier in town calls stuff that is
Oh,
shit chocolate.
oh,
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what she
I
calls
can
it.
imagine.
really?
I can imagine who
Yeah.
that is.
I won't mention
So
any names,
yeah,
though.
so Chef Dean, he does a shrimp Jenkins, which is kind of a classic dish of his, and he did use the Valentin bourbon ball in that, and it was terrific. So we had a group of 24 folks or whatever, and just super. He did a little stuff with a brisket. You know, you can sort of savory Valentin up a little bit. And we did a nice, like a grilled peach Manhattan with a brisket that he had done, so that was fun. And,
Man, that sounds delicious.
yeah, and then we did a bourbon ball drink with the shrimp Jenkins. So that was a lot of fun. What I was going to say about, you know, we're talking about this whole notion of hospitality and love. You know, we're talking about love a lot, which
Because it's close to
I
Valentine's
know
Day.
it is.
That's
yeah.
why.
So let's not make it uncomfortable.
Valentin love.
But I think Dean, he was such a great storyteller, right? So I mean, he was on behind the kitchen there for 2 hours, you know, cooking, but also storytelling, which was the most powerful part. And you can't tell all those stories unless you really invest yourself in what's going on every day in your life, right? You can't just skim along and then come away with these really rich, funny, touching, warm, you know, profound, silly stories. I mean, you got to get in there and live it, and that's what he did. I mean, he was like, and that's why, you know, just, you know, he never met a stranger. He always had a hug for you. So, I mean, he was, you know, he was getting in there, getting his fingernails dirty, you know, doing this thing, right? And that's how, I think that's why he had such great stories. He could talk all night long just because, you know, he had invested himself in, you know, every single time he's with somebody, you know, he's in it. He's in it.
And that's why this is going to be a fantastic tribute, the Taste
Yeah,
of Corbett's.
yeah.
I want to get to another really important topic, and that is why Gary Fox is a huge part of this conversation. You're in charge of Apron, so explain to those who have not heard of it what Apron is and what you do, and then let's talk about how it's going to be folded into this wonderful tribute to Dean Corbett.
Sure. Apron is a not-for-profit, local not-for-profit here in Louisville. We help out independent restaurant workers in times of dire financial need. When they find themselves absolutely unable to pay their bills through no fault of their own, they can apply to us, and we can pay some rent, pay car payments, pay whatever it is they need. So many people in the restaurant business are, the people aren't marginal, but they're sort of in a marginal part of their life. They might
Right.
be students, they might be recently divorced, something like that. They don't have a whole lot of resources to fall back on. And when they find themselves, if they get sick and they're out of work and they live tip to tip, or the hostesses don't make much money if
And
they
you don't
if
have
they fall
insurance
sick.
typically.
And unfortunately, restaurants are such small businesses that they don't provide insurance. So that's where we come in. The people can apply to us, and if they meet our criteria, we help them out. In the past 7 years, we've given out well over $200,000 to these people, and I feel like we're doing really good work. Last year, during the flooding, right about this time last year, we were able to pay rent for 37 families.
Wow, that's amazing.
That were whose restaurants had to close because of.
So we're talking about like probably Captain's Quarters,
it was
River
Captain's-
House,
Captain's
Kingfish.
Quarters, exactly, those restaurants.
Yeah.
Exactly.
God, last year during the flood, I saw John Veronese down there in a longboat
Yep.
getting groceries and food out of the River restaurant, bringing it back up to the Frankfurt Avenue restaurant.
Right.
You know, and I had no idea. And there was an announcement on Facebook, I think it was Saturday night, that said, come to the bar, Captain's Quarters. We have a limited menu because we're going to close.
Right.
The river's up, you know,
Right.
and so they were taking, and they said it'll give us less to move.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But think about all those people who work there being forced out by the wiles of the Ohio,
And,
you know?
and Andrew Masterson said the people that cleaned up the restaurant were the people that work in the restaurant. I
Right.
mean,
That's
you know,
right.
they
And
came back.
that's
and-
that's the very good thing about Captain's Quarters is they're so used to it that they pay their
God,
that
I
they
was
pay
thinking
their
about what a
people.
disgusting
Yeah.
mess that must
Yeah.
be to
Yeah.
clean. Get the fire hoses out,
Right.
Fern.
Exactly.
I know.
Get on over here with a shovel, sweetheart, and get this mess cleaned up.
We've been, pretty involved with Apron Inc. And
Very
the thing I always think about is how proud we are of the restaurant community here in Louisville. I mean, we're hitting the top 10 list, and Garden and Gun and Travel and Leisure and all that stuff, and bourbon tourism and all that, and how the restaurants and the culinary scene is so connected to that. You can't
Yes.
really have all that bourbon tourism and an influx of tourists and
And
everything
wine.
if you can't feed them, and wine and all that
Gosh,
stuff. But we have these fantastic celebrity chefs in town. Paul's one, and we have these other chefs in town. That's the tip of the iceberg. And if we don't have a supportive community that helps the bus boys and the dishwashers and the people in the front of the house and everything, let this be a viable, employment for them, we won't have those fine restaurants. So it's not
That's right.
just about the marquee dishes and the celebrity chefs, but I mean, it's all the way through the line. And Apron Inc. is one of the organizations that helps facilitate that, builds a little infrastructure around people's lives if they have trouble, and that's one of the things that makes us a great restaurant community. And we'll all be sorry if we can't sustain and maintain that, right? I mean, we're so
Exactly.
proud of that, and it's such a vibrant part of the community, and it takes people to manage that. It takes people to keep that going. So,
Well, and for
Good
sheer
work. Very
entertainment
good work.
value at the event, Taste of Corbett's a week from Wednesday. Tim Laird and Kevin Harned from Secrets
Yeah.
of Louisville chef.
Yeah.
Kevin, of course, the preeminent meteorologist, and Tim, the preeminent whatever
he's
he
the
is,
CEO,
chief
the Chief
mixologist.
Entertainment Officer,
Entertainment
CEO at
That's
Brown
right.
Forman.
He's awesome
Who
too.
would have thought that?
You ever have an arm wrestling contest with Tim Laird over mixing drinks?
No.
Okay.
There's no contest I want to win or lose against him. But
So
no,
they're going to be emceeing
yes,
the event.
yes,
It should be a lot of
he's
fun,
terrific.
and there will be a whole lot of activity. And you still can get tickets, which is the good news. There may be 100 something few left, and those can be obtained both online. And can you get them the night of the? You think you should take a chance on walking in the night of? No,
I don't.
unless you want to go to the Gawkers parking lot. In which case, you could just stand outside and watch the beautiful people
From a distance.
From a distance. Yeah,
You could
it
just
will
hear
be-
the faint refrain.
It'll
of
be like
Robbie Bartlett singing.
It'll be like the Barnstable party. I was just going to say that, where you have to stand down on Spring Drive and watch
Right.
all the beautiful people.
And look
come
like
out.
you belong. Yeah.
Robbie Bartlett will walk to the door and sing a little bit for you.
Tease you every
So you
night.
can hear him. The chef will walk out with food and just kind of show it to all of you poor,
Yeah.
poor people who
See what
didn't
you're
get your
not getting?
tickets.
If you had a ticket,
You poor people who didn't get your tickets. So, so that would be a good thing to do, is to get those tickets fairly quickly. Want to say hi to some of our friends who are tuning in. Tracy says, I'm going with Tara. Well, I haven't gotten a ticket yet, so you're kind of out of luck on that one. Don Birch of Quest Out. Yeah, Don Birch of Quest Outdoors, Amber Clark from the main event is watching, Eric Cooper, Bill Venman, Linda Hillenbrand. Thank you so much for watching. Warren Nash, Tessa Banta, June Kelly Roy, one of our buddies, one of our musician friends. Sorry about that break there, guys. I'm going to edit the two pieces together so that when you share later, you can share the entire program. We do have a couple Wi-Fi blackouts occasionally in places like this beautiful location here at the Olmsted. And if you haven't been here yet, you should really come here. This is a beautiful venue.
That gives you license to edit out all my stuff.
I would never edit you out of anything. You're my favorite.
Just saying.
You're my favorite guy. I love it when you come in. For
You leave yourself that little out.
For
I'm going to edit the
for
break.
someone who doesn't drink, I adore you, and all you ever talk about is alcohol.
Where's Paul Toole?
Every single show Caroline sets up, I'm like, okay, is it going to be about balloting again? But this is the first time I've seen you in a while. So
It
I'm
has
so
been a
glad
while.
you're
I know.
here.
Thank you. I love being here.
Thank you for taking the time to come in. So we've got a few minutes to kind of just wrap up, and I just kind of want to go down the line, and I'm going to start with the youngest friend of Dean's to the oldest friend of Dean's in this order. We'll go here,
How long we've been friends?
here. How many years did you have in the process?
10.
Okay, we're just going to go boom, 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 boom. And then Caroline, who can share? Fond memory. Paul Toole.
Yeah, it had to be at that dinner where Chef Dean and Finbar, do y'all know?
Yeah,
Finbar,
Finbar
yes.
Kinsella.
He's my partner at the dinner.
Is
Yeah,
he?
good.
Oh, Finbar's your
Chef
partner.
at St. Joseph's
Yeah.
His wife is
Orphanage.
watching.
Is that
Kathy
right?
Schmidt- Kathy Schmidt's tuned in.
Okay, that's great.
Yep, Finbar
So
Kinsella.
just the easy rapport and the way that those guys were having fun together. It was, helping us all to have fun there. They cooked great together. Dean had his Bud Light stashed in the fridge. So anyway, just the way that he and Finbar, sort of managed that kitchen and that event, the stories, and it was obvious they were good, close friends. That was just a really warm night for all of us. But watching he and Finbar do their thing was terrific.
I got to tell you that Finbar is one of the best karaokeers I've ever
Really?
seen. He almost won the Money for the Bunny karaoke contest.
Wow.
It's held at the Hub, right before Easter, and actually the money that we raise there helps with the Easter parade expenses because that's a community expense,
Sure,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
Finbar Kinsella, come back, bring your people, bring your support network, all the people who pay to hear you sing.
Which is go-to karaoke
He's an Irish
song.
tenor.
Yeah.
Very inebriated Irish tenor at one point during the song last year. That's what made him great.
So, like, come on, Eileen. I don't know
Yeah,
what's
I
his
don't even
go.
know. I
Yeah,
can't
we
remember
don't
what he
know.
sang, but
Right.
I mean, there were so many people singing at that thing. He's awesome. He's awesome. Everybody had a great time. Robbie, fond memory of Dean.
I was finishing singing on the patio at Corbett's, and I'm loading up my cart to roll it to my car, and I turn around, put my coat on, or whatever I was doing. My cart is gone. Dean took my cart to the car. I said, "Come on, girl, we gotta pack this up. Come on." I said, "I didn't know you had my car." I said, "I can do it. I can open. Well, what side you put this in?" I mean, he was just. He helped me. He would help me set up if he was there, but most of the time it was when I was packing out. He grabbed my cart. I said, "I'm not done. Wait."
He
But
stole
wanted to
Mrs.
help
Smith's
me.
wheelchair to help you pull your stuff out. But gave her an extra dessert while he helped you to the car. And he took her out. That's a great memory.
Yeah.
That's the gentlemanliness of the man, as well as just the the proactivity, which is all part of hospitality,
Yeah,
is
for sure.
anticipating the needs of the people that you are serving in whatever capacity, and then going on. Chef Paul Sant.
One that stands out at a hotel near the airport that I worked at, Dino and a couple of other people had started a small company, and one of their major items that they were selling was a Weissenberger grit, which was a local product, and unannounced, and certainly he didn't need an invitation, but he walked in the kitchen, and I was on one end of the kitchen, and he certainly announced himself from that end of the kitchen. "Hey, Paul!" Oh my goodness. Yeah. So after he had walked over, and big hugs and lots of loud talks, and here's what you're going to do. You're going to buy this stuff because here's the price, and you can't get any better. On and on and on. As he was leaving, and it was a personal conversation, but a business conversation. As he was leaving, the associates were in awe. That was Dino. Yeah. No, that was Chef Dean Corbett, and it was a celebrity, and it was just the people that didn't know him wanted to know him. The people that didn't know him knew he was a bigger than image and life. But yeah, after he had left, multiple associates walked over and said, "That was Dean Corbett, wasn't it?" Yeah, it was. It was Dean
lovely?
Corbett. Yeah. So even if they didn't know him, the people that didn't know him knew of him and knew certainly his persona. It was big. It really was.
Gary Fox.
One of my favorite stories about Dean is we were going to a food festival in Massachusetts, the Tanglewood Food Festival, and it was a 12-hour drive. And he had rented this big, huge van, and we had a couple young gentlemen with us that were driving, so we didn't have to. And he wanted to show off Kentucky there in Massachusetts, so we had lots of charcuterie that Corbett's had made. We had lots of charcuterie also from the Red Hog. We had Kentucky cheese. We had just tons and tons of food that he was going to do things with at this food festival. Well, we had to stop. It's a 12-hour drive, so it's a long drive. But we stopped for gas somewhere in who knows where, maybe northern New York or something. And we get out of the car, and Dean starts talking to all the people at the rest stop. And they find out what he's doing, and all of a sudden, the doors of the van come open. We pull out the coolers, and there's a party in the parking lot.
All the Bud Light came out of the cooler.
All there was Bud Light involved.
That's
there was
hysterical.
indeed.
I love it.
There must have been 20 people just sort of gathered around for half an hour eating.
Party wherever he was.
Exactly. And, you know, how can you beat that? You know?
Come here, CK.
Watch your feet there, Mr.
Yes,
Toole.
ma'am.
With Dean, lots
Favorite
of great
memories.
simple moments. Just hanging out at Equus on Tuesday nights with Donna and Ellen. And I think the biggest treat was I'm in this band called Happy Hour, and Dean came this past summer. We only play twice a year. And he introduced me. He introduced the band, and he did it as if he was Ed Sullivan.
Of course.
And it was the most amazing introduction I've ever had. And that was pretty special. So we love Dean.
Okay, so some good memories are flooding across here as well, which I think is pretty funny. Debbie Hossman, thanks for watching. Tracy Sproul says, Dean was my favorite patient at work. Is this a HIPAA violation to say that she's a dental hygienist? So she kept his teeth clean and probably got a lot of laughs in the process too. And Martha Bloom, thanks for watching us too. You guys, it's time to go. I hate to say it because it's been so much fun.
I hate to hear it.
I'm so glad we had this time together.
Just
Sing it, Chef. Just to have a laugh or sing a song.
Or sing a song.
Seems it
just when it started, and before you know it,
Comes a time we have to say so long.
Good night,
So long.
everybody.
That's right.
Hit that button, Caroline. You guys, that was sweet.